Hi, I'm Pam Schmidt, Chemical Minimalist. Today I'm going to be talking about my eye and vision journey. It's kind of a long one, but might be helpful to you. 2020 has been the year that I was anticipating, the year of vision, emotional, spiritual, all sorts of things. The interesting thing is, my recurrent eye and vision issues returned right on the toes of 2020 starting. I have chronic eye issues where they will inflame and be very angry and irritated. And the journey each time over the last 15 years lasts for 8 months, one time up to 2 years. It's a very trying and discouraging time for me. I depend on my eyes. I just retired from teaching, and always I felt like my eyes were my communicators with my young kindergarten kids as they were learning how to learn. I would say, look at my eyes. And I'd say, look at my mouth. But really, my eyes were my main communicators. So going through these journeys of ugly eyes, unhappy eyes, has always been very defeating to me emotionally. Good old Garth Brooks always says, those things that are a blessing are also a curse. That is the case for my eyes. So this journey is about 15 years in the making. I've had 3 bouts with my vision issues, not so much vision as eye health. And so I just want to quick run through that with you. The first time I had it was about 15 years ago. Life blurs and I can't pinpoint the year unless I go look at the doctor's records. But at that time, it started, and it always starts with a case of pink eye, which I blame on classroom exposure. And the pink eye is treated, then I'm not contagious anymore, and then it just flares my eyes into all sorts of other things where I've got, very swollen lids. I've got the blepharitis, which is dandruff along the lid, lash line, and it ends up that my eyeball itself swells and the eyelids can't adjust to it, and so the eyelids are scraping on the eyeballs, and then the eyes go through this extreme dryness and then extreme teariness, and it just goes on and on. So I inevitably end up on eye drops that risk glaucoma and all of that, but it's the short-term way to start turning things around. So this first time that I had it, my eye doctor dealt with it for a couple of months and then sent me on to Stanford, which is a research hospital. And that eye doctor really said what he noticed was that I have rosacea here. And he goes, it could very easily be in the eyes. There are cases of rosacea in the eyes. So there's nothing to do about it. He just had a diagnosis. So I went back home, told my eye doctor, we just continued on with the same routines. I also at that time was seeing a homeopathic doctor, and I told him about it, and he recommended that I go on a gluten-free diet for 3 to 6 months. And so I did that, and it did help my condition. Inevitably, at about 8 months, it cleared up. Okay, so I carry on happily with life, enjoying my makeup, doing my thing. 5 years later, here we are. And I start with the pink eye again. And it always kind of hits, it never hits in summer. It always hits in fall or the middle of winter. So I know something about sunlight and all of that plays into it. But the second go around, I was sent to quite a few specialists, several eye specialists. And eventually one eye specialist said, I'm sending you to an allergist for some extended testing. And so I did that nasty test where they tape all the little vials across your back of all the potential allergens. And you have to live that way for 2 days, and some of it itches so badly. It's just miserable. And that test revealed that I am allergic to nickel and iron oxide. Nickel, easy, cheap makeup. Cheap jewelry and stuff. And makeup plays into the iron oxide. Iron oxide is a colorant that is used in inks and paints, in makeup and hair color, all of that. And I'm going, great. So the allergist said, this is what you're allergic to. And I asked, well, what do I do about that? She said, that's your job. So I went home and I thought, okay, now I'm going to let my hair go white because I can't color my hair anymore. And am I going to be makeup free? And thank the Lord, fortunately, this is one of those times where your phone listens to what you're talking about, you know what I mean? And then those ads show up. And I had seen some ads a couple of months previous that had fruit pigmented makeup. And I thought, that's weird. Why would people do that? And I forgot about it. When I started researching the results from this allergy test, I realized that might be something I need, and I couldn't remember the name, and so I did a little search and found it. 100%pure.com is the company, and they have fruit pigmented makeup to replace the iron oxide. So that was a wonderful find for me. And I did find some hair color that didn't have iron oxide, and it was a little bit complicated in the learning, but now that I have it, it's an easy routine. At that same time, one of eye specialists said to me, I have a feeling that your eyes will clear up when you're done with menopause. Are you done with menopause? And I said, no, I'm kind of going through it. He goes, for many ladies, this will clear up at that time. And that was my longest bout with this eye issue. That one took 2 years. Again, it was very, very discouraging. The ugliness that I had to endure, being in a public job like teaching and everything else. But I started finding some steps, and I gained some emotional vision in this journey. So then this last fall, I knew I was in my last year of teaching and I was going to retire. I was excited about it. And I got to October and I got pink eye again. And I very much tried to ignore it and think this is not going to be the eye problem that I've had. No, it's not. And it did. It went into it. And I found myself saying, I know how this goes. I know how long it lasts. It's about 8 months, And then I end up saying, I hate my eyes. I can't stand my eyes. I'm embarrassed. I don't want to be seen. And one of my dear friends, Bronwyn, brought out, you need to be bringing out the positive and talking positive for your own body's sake. And I came to the point where I started saying, I love my healing eyes. And I worked on that. I found Dr. Sam Byrne, who is a holistic eye specialist online. And I read his book and I started following some of his protocols. There are some daily eye exercises that I did during that time. And maybe I'll do a video on just what I did for my eye treatment, because I'll talk about that. One thing I did and still do is I run a little bit of MSM drops along my lash line. And then if I'm brave, I open my eyes a bit so it gets in there. It burns, but it helps a lot. So all of these points along the way in my life, I'm starting to gain new vision and insights into. And I do think each of these came at different points of my figuring out what was happening next in life, gaining new vision. I kind of think that first round might have been when my daughter was a senior in high school. She's my baby. And I think I was just kind of figuring out where life was going with my kids growing up. The second time I was going through menopause. That's a new time of figuring out, who am I? Is this good or bad? And the third time I was on the toes of retirement. As excited as I have been and was, I do think I lacked a little bit of vision of what it would be and who would I be after being a teacher. So it's quite interesting. I feel like 2020 is a year that I anticipated seeing great vision, and I feel like not only has my life taken some direction and showing unsureness, but I feel like the whole world is kind of there right now. Politically, economically, everything else. And so it's something that I'm working on to keep hope, keep encouraged in. I have one wonderful quote that just kind of helps me through it at this point in life. This is by Helen Keller, who you know is blind and deaf. And her quote is, "The most pathetic person in the world is someone who has sight but no vision." So I'm not giving you any recipes today. I'm just encouraging you to gain your vision, form your vision. And I'm going to dance you out. Thanks for listening in today. Woo! And I'm encouraging you to please check in. My page is Chemical Minimalism by Pam Schmidt, and I'll see you later. Have a great day.